Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video. This is the last episode of the movie application, and in this video we are going to implement pagination on this application. But before I start, I wanted to ask you to write down below in the comment box the topic of the videos that you want to see after this playlist, because I want to start making a new playlist after this videos about this movie application, and I need your opinion about the topic. Please don't forget about it and write down below, and I will check them. Let's get started. Let's see what we have done till now. This is the banner screen. We have created this together, and I'm pressing this get in. Here is the home screen, and we should see a list of 10 movies. And as you can see, it's here. You can see them all. Then after that, we implemented the on-click event listener on the items. When I'm clicking on them, we can see the details based on the request that we sent to the API. So this detail is completed and it stays unchanged. But in the home screen, we should implement something to check that we catch the end of the list, and then it should send a new request to the API, but it should increase the number of the page. We have started from page number 1, and I said that we have 25 pages. So after these 2 movies, it should be 1 plus 1. The result will be 2. It will be sending to the API, and we will receive the movies of the second page. And this process will continue based on scrolling till the last page, which is the 25th. Okay, let's go to the project structure and see what we should do and what will change. The nav host, we don't need it. Okay, API interface, we don't need it. The repository remains the same, we don't need it. Only the home screen will have some changes, and the view model, the movie view model class, will have some changes. This data class as well will have more variables, and also we need 2 more classes, one interface and one class. Let's start by creating a new package here, and I'm going to call it paging. Inside of this paging, let's create an interface. Let's call it pagination or paginator. I'm going to add it to the GitHub. Let me zoom. The type of this interface is a key and item. The key is connected to the page number, and the item is the movie. So it's so easy. If you want, you can rename them to page and to movie. Then we need 2 functions here. One of them to load the next page, and the other one to reset the process when we are opening the application, and we should see everything from the beginning. The first page should be sent to the request for receiving the movies of the first page should be sent to the API. That's better. We need a suspend function for load next page, and a normal function for reset. We are done here in pagination for now. Actually, it's done totally. We will not come back here anymore. Inside this paging, let's create a normal class, and I'm going to call it pagination factory. Because we should do whatever we want here regarding to paging. I have a typo here, factory. Okay. Here we need a bunch of variables, and we have to override the functions that we have created here to use them. So let's start from the beginning, and part by part I will go further and I will explain why we need them. Again, we need the same, the key and the item. Let me check there. Yeah, the key and the item. Then in the constructor of this class, I'm going to add the variables, and we have to send the variables, some of them from the Mvvm model, like the page number or the command to start loading, to start sending the request, and also after receiving the data, we have to send them from this class to the Mvvm model, and finally we'll display them. Okay, so private value initial page. The type of it is this key. Then we need private late init variable. Sorry. Inline value on load updated. The type of it will be a boolean, and it returns the unit. Then we need another variable to send the request, actually. So pressing Ctrl D, changing the name on request. But the type is it should be suspend first of all, and instead of the boolean we need to pass the next page to this. The type of this next page is the key, and in the return it will give us the response from retrofit 2. Okay, and the response will send the items, send the received data, the movies, to the view model, and the type of it will be the item. Okay. Then after this, let me press Ctrl D again, duplicate this. We need another suspend variable and get next key. So we will send the next page number to this variable. Item, and the result will be not the result, the return will be the key. Actually, we are sending the key and we are getting the item. It's reverse. We need another variable to handle the errors, and also this one should be suspended. So Ctrl D again. Instead of this, on error, it suspend and it gives us the throwable. But it can be null because sometimes we don't have any error. Actually, most of the time. And last but not least, we need another variable to show us that the process was fully completed. So we need another one for on success. This one is also suspend. The return type is unit and items, the type of item, and new page of the type of key is required here. Okay, these are the parameters that we need. Then here it inherits from the pagination interface. Again, the key and the item should be here, and here we should implement the members. We had two functions, so we should override them here to do whatever we want here, to send the command. Okay, first of all, here we need two variables, one of them for the current key and the other one a boolean to check if we are making a request or the request is done. So private var current key equals to this initial page. So we will send the initial page to this, and through this it goes to this current key. And we need another private variable is making request or not. By the default, it's false. Okay. Now let's see when we want to load the next page, what we should do. First of all, we are checking if we are making request or not. So if is making request, return. That means go to the next line. Okay. In the next line, we will change the value of this is making request into true. Then on load updated, we are checking this and making it true. In the next line, after the loading is completed and we are making the request, we are going to use this on request to send the request by the value of the new page. Consider the last page was number 4 and the new page number comes from the viewModel. I will show you how to do. And now we are sending a new request by this new number, which is number 5 for now, for example. So we are making a try catch here. Creating a variable, calling it response, result, whatever you want, equals to on request, sending the request. For the request, we need this next page, the key. What is this? This is this current key. So we are passing the current key into this. Then it will give us a response. And the response sits in this variable. Okay. Now we are going to check if the response dot is successful. We are making is making request false again. That means the process is done. So we no longer making a request. The request is done. So we are making it false. And then we need another variable to put the items inside it. So a value calling it items or movies or whatever you want to name it equals to response dot body, and you can write null check here after this. Then after this we need to check the current key again, get next key, and the next key will come from the items. Again, null check. Then on success. So if all of these null checks and this if condition and the try is passed, that means successfully we received a data. So we are loading the data into this on success variable. So items and the current key should be passed into this on success. And on load updated should be false. That means the updating process of the number of the movies that we are displaying in home screen is also done, so it should be false. That means we stopped loading more items here. Okay, here after the try we need the catch, and it will give us exception. Then we can call the on error and pass the error into it. And also Again, as you see here, we call this onload updated and made it false. And I said that means the process of loading is stopped. Here as well, if we try to send a request and we get an error, again, we have to stop the process of loading new item because there is no new item to display. And yeah, that's it for the requesting and loading next page. And here in the reset, the current key should be equal to initial page again. The thing that we done here in the beginning. Okay. So now we should pass some of these values from the view model, I mean this one and this one, to these variables to make them valid. Okay, let's go to the view model. In a view model, let's start with creating a function to load new items. So it's a function calling it load next items. We don't need to pass anything to it. And viewModel scope dot launch here let's create the pagination. We need it, a private value calling it pagination equals to pagination factory. We should pass a lot of data to it, but for now we can call it here pagination dot the load next page function from the pagination should be called here. Okay. Now inside of this init block, we don't need this anymore because we will not send any requests from here from the view model now, and the request will create here. So I'm going to make it comment, because if you want to use this method, use this type of coding, it will be available in the GitHub and you can catch it. Again, I'm going to create the init block and call this load next items here to this. Let's leave it like that. Okay, here we have this pagination factory and we should send all of the required data to this. Part by part, let's go further. Some of this data are coming from this data class down below, and some of the received data also will sit inside this. So let's complete this. We have the page number for the beginning, which is 1, and it will go to this class and sits in the initial page. Then the movies is a variable through the data class, and the response, the movies, will sit inside it, and details are going here. So we need another value calling it and reached. That means that we reached to the last page of the pages of the API, which was number 25. Okay, the type of it is boolean and initially is false. Then we need another value for the error. The type of it can be a string but nullable, because only sometimes we are going to use it, only the time that we have error, so it's null. And another value we need to check if is loading or not. Again, boolean and is false initially. Okay, now we have whatever we need. Here in this catch, for the details, let's write here state equals to state dot copy, and here error equals to e dot message. Okay, we pass the error to this variable, and later we can read it inside the home screen or in the details screen. Now let's go back to this variable and load the data into it, because we have all of the requirements. Here we need the initial page, which comes from the state. So state dot page. Then onload updated. State equals to state dot copy, and here is loading equals to it, which is the return function of this, return variable of this. Then what was the next item here? Onload on request. On request equals to here next page, and here repository dot get movie list, and we have to pass the page number to it, so the next page will send to the repository. Then we should get the next key here. Here, get next key equals to state dot page number plus 1. After this, we should check if we received any error or not. So on error, and state equals to state dot copy, and error equals to it if we have any error inside of the return value of this lambda black. And that's it for the error. And finally, on success equals to, it will give us, as we declare here, the items and the new page. So here we have two return values, new page and item. State equals to state dot copy items equal to state dot movies, which was a list, plus items dot data. So now we don't have item there. Yeah, movies. Okay, movies will equal the old data that we had there plus the new data that we received. Consider we send the request for the second page. We had 10 movies here and 10 new movies, and totally we will have 20 movies inside of this variable. Then the page should be equal to new page, and enriched should be equal to state dot page 25. If the page number in the state, which was 1, catches the number 25, which is the end of the movies, the end of the list, the end of the pages, this should be true. Okay, so I think everything is done here. Okay, let's go to the home screen, and we should do some changes in the home screen. Here we had a lazy vertical grid, and for the content of this lazy vertical grid we use this items block, and we pass the state.movies.size into it. Now, before going to the UI, we have to check if it, which is equal to the item index, is larger than state.movies.size -1, and state.enrich has not happened. Still we have new pages to load, and again state dot is loading as well, is not undergoing. So that means we successfully loaded everything inside of these movies. Then we are going to the next line, and we are going to display the data here. Okay, so movie view model dot load next items. Again, we are calling this load new next items, and we are refreshing the data. After all of these processes are done, we are going to the item UI to display the data, the received data. Okay, here after these items, we should do something for error handling and for loading process to display a progress bar or something like that. So item, a single item we need to use here, state dot is loading. So if we are loading the data, we have to display the thing that we have in this block. Let me write it. We need a row, and this row can fill max width. It may be a padding of 8 dps. Then horizontal arrangement center, and circular progress indicator. Let's change the color of it. Progress indicator defaults dot circular color. That's it here. And after this row, if state dot error dot is null or empty, and we have this here, so that means it's not null and empty. That means we have an error. So let's display a toast message. Local context dot current and state dot error. Okay, we have anything that we need here. I think we are done. Let's check it. Pressing get in. The progress bar appeared. 10 movies loaded. And let's go down. And you can see more and more movies. Okay. Now let's check the error handling by turning off the internet. I'm going down to the end of the loading, and you can see unable to reach new whatever you see, and the progress bar is here. So there is no new movie anymore. And again, we can go back, turn on the internet, get in, and receive new movies. Okay. That's it. That was whatever I wanted to show you in this playlist. The playlist is done now. As I said at the beginning of the video, please write down below what topic is in your mind and you want to see video about that topic. If you like this playlist, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to financially support me, you can hit the thanks button down below of this video and pay me, donate me any amount of money that you like. If you are new in the channel, please hit the subscribe button and the bell button to be aware about the new videos, and have a good time. Bye bye. See you in next videos.